I wanted to finish these notes for the quadratic formula. So here we'll just dive right in and get started. We've already completed example 1 and example 2. Now I need to complete example 3. I ran out of time on that last video. I'm going to move both the negative 3 and the negative 4z squared to the other side by adding. So that would leave me with 4z squared minus 7z plus 3 equals 0. I'm ready to look at quadratic formula. So I'm naming A, B, and C. I'm going to find the discriminant first. Remember, the discriminant is the value under the radical, b squared minus 4ac. So I'm going to do negative 7 squared minus 4 times 4 times 3. So 49 minus 48, which is 1. So that means that value is greater than 0, and 1 is a perfect square. So I know I'm going to have 2 real rational answers. All of this is just to help me know what my answer is going to look like. So as I do the quadratic formula, z equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. So z is going to equal plus or minus 1, because the square root of 1 is 1 over 8. I'm going to have 2 answers. Let me find them. Z equals 7 plus 1 divided by 8, and z equals 7 minus 1 divided by 8. 7 plus 1 is 8 divided by 8, so z is 1. 7 minus 1 is 6 divided by 8, so z is 3/4. Those are my 2 answers for that problem. And moving on to the last problem, number 7 for this set of notes. If you'll take a moment and read that word problem, and then I'll explain. You can pause if you'd like. I'll explain how I came up with that equation. I looked it up, and this 16 represents like the force of gravity. And then the reason why negative 16, let me draw you a little picture. The reason why negative 16, if you're going to throw something into the air, a ball, well, that's not a good graph, a ball or whatever you're going to throw, then it's going to make this path. It's going to make like a quadratic, an upside down quadratic. And what do we know about a quadratic that points down? Well, the a value would be negative, so that's why it's negative 16. The 85 came from the 85 feet per second, the plus 4 from a height of 4 feet. If it was from the ground, then you wouldn't have that plus 4 there. You'd just have negative 16t squared plus 85t. So that's the answer to letter A, 7a. Now, let's look at 7b, I think it is. Where am I going to put 110 feet? Is this height or is it time? Well, hopefully you recognize 110 feet as height. So I'm going to put 110 in place of height. Okay, I am going to stop the video and work out this problem and then bring it back on and show you my answer. I have worked out letter B. I substituted 110 in for h of t. I moved 110 to the right so that it would be equal to 0. I know I left this as a negative, and I don't normally do that. I just thought it would be easier to move one term to 3 terms as opposed to the reverse. And I'm doing the quadratic formula, and it all works out in the end in the quadratic formula. Then I did the discriminant. That's what all this is here. Found the value of the discriminant. I found that value to be 441. It's greater than 0 and a perfect square. So I know I'm going to have 2 real rational roots, which means I'll have two whole numbers or two decimals, because when you're doing a word problem, you're going to want to convert any fractions to decimals because that's what we understand. It says, when is the ball? So what time is the ball 110 feet off the ground? I drew this picture for us so you can understand. If you're throwing a ball, the baseball player, hits a foul ball. So the baseball player hits the foul ball. When is this ball 110 feet in the air? Well, this line represents 110 feet in the air. At two different times, it's 110 feet in the air. Here, so many seconds after he has hit it, and then it goes back up to its peak and comes back down, and then it's back at 110 feet. So that's why we're going to have two answers. Okay, so I did the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2 times a. The square root of 441, it's a perfect square, is 21. So that's where this came from, negative 85 plus 21 divided by negative 32. And negative 85 minus 21 divided by negative 32. Then I ran out of space, so I went up here to the top. Negative 85 plus 21 is negative 64. Divide that by negative 32. That gives you a whole number, 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, the baseball player hits the ball. 2 seconds later, it's 110 feet in the air. And then t equals negative 106. 85 minus 21 is negative 106. Divide that by negative 32, you get 3 point something something. It's a longer decimal. This stands for is approximately 3.3 seconds. So baseball player hits the ball. It's a foul ball, but it goes straight to the air. At 2 seconds, it's 110 feet in the air. And then at 3.3 seconds, it comes back to 110 feet in the air. So the answers for letter B are 2 seconds and 3.3 seconds. Okay, so let's do letter C. The catcher catches the ball 6 feet from the ground. How long is the ball in the air? So how long stands for time, 6 feet stands for height, and I'm going to substitute that in, but I want to use my picture up here. So if you're looking at this picture, ignore the 110. So the catcher catches the ball 6 feet from the ground. So somewhere 6 feet from the ground, the catcher out here catches the ball. How long is the ball in the air? So let me get another color and I'll color that picture in. Let me use green. So the ball's hit, and when it's 6 feet in the air, at some point the catcher catches it. So how long is it in the air? So although I'm going to get two answers, I'm going to get an answer for 6 feet in the air over here and an answer for over here. But this one would represent the total length of time that the ball is in the air. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to go out of here, pause the video, work out the problem, come back and explain my answer. Okay, to finish this lesson, I want to explain my answers down here at the bottom. As I look at this, I substituted 6 in for h of t. Then I moved 6 to the right, and I found that to be negative 2. I found the discriminant, named a, b, and c, b squared minus 4 times a times c, 7,225 minus 128. I got 7,097. That value is greater than 0, and it's not a perfect square. So I'm going to get two irrational answers, which means I would have a radical in my answer. However, remember, we're doing a word problem, and most of us would not understand an answer of negative 85 plus square root of 7,097 divided by negative 32. So we actually have to use a calculator and find out the answer. So I substituted into the quadratic formula here. This is just a little thing of highlighter. And then I did negative 85 plus the square root of 7,097. I erased the 9 here, divided by negative 32. And then I did negative 85 minus the square root of 7,097 divided by negative 32. I put both of these in the calculator. I did my numerator on top. I did negative 85 plus the square root of 7,097. I hit enter or equals, and then I divided that answer by negative 32, and I got 0.02 excuse me, seconds. Then I did the same thing over here. I put this into the calculator. First, I hit equals or enter. I divided that by negative 32, and I got 5.3 seconds. So the question is, do I use both of these answers or just one? So let me go back up here to my picture. Remember, the green was me talking about letter C. If a ball has been hit and it's traveling through the air, how long is it in the air if the catcher catches it 6 feet from the ground? So the time from here to here is what I'm looking for. Is that going to be 0.2 seconds, 0.02 seconds, or do you think it would be 5.3 seconds? Well, hopefully in your mind you're saying that would definitely be 5.3 seconds. That's how long it's in the air, is 5.3 seconds, from the time it was hit to the time it was caught. So that's the end of these notes. Thank you for watching.